So in this little video, I'm going to strip down this hydraulic pump, give it a bloody good clean, just see if there's any parts that can be replaced or overhauled in it. But it's pretty clean. I did give it a birthday in our parts washer, but I haven't done it internally, so we'll give it a birthday and see how they work. I suppose they look pretty snazzy. Yeah. Anyway, let's strip it down and have a look. So there's their little valve assembly there. To be honest, it looks like a lady's contraceptive device a bit, doesn't it? You know? Anyway, that's all clean. Next, I guess we'll take these side covers off. Looks like there's little pistons in there. So there's an elliptical bush in here, which looks like it spins, and then that slides the pistons either side and pumps it up. Pretty clever, isn't it? I should imagine it's all full of gunk in here. So our gasket set that we bought from Sperex has got everything in it. There we go. So there's our little, I guess they'd be the bores where we pump through. And there's our little pistons. Bit of sludge in there, so I'm just going to make sure I get each side on back where it goes. Obviously I don't want to change them because the pistons will be worn to these little cylinders. So I'll get my little pen and I'll just write on the right hand side, just so it goes on the same way. Bit of water in there, bit of all sorts in there. I guess it's pretty similar to the way a water blaster works. A bit tight, that one. Just hanging on the gasket there. There's no rust in it, which is good. I think we'll take this over to the parts washer and give that a rinse while it's apart like that. Yeah, it's actually a one hole casting, so the sump and this is all one. So I wonder how you get the whole thing out. And there's a shaft at the bottom, looks like it holds it all together, and that would probably all come out then. Yes. Anyway, I'm going to go give it a clean up. Go and get it in the parts washer. So So what I do want to look at, this bit looks pretty good, so there's just brass bearing surfaces and the pistons, they all look lovely, so I'm not going to strip that down any further than that because I can't see the point. But what I do want to look at is these little valve blocks. So in here there's obviously valves, so as the pistons are going in and out, the valves are opening and closing. So they've obviously been sitting in sludge and crap for a number of years. So what I will do is pull these apart one at a time. Just go and get a pair of pliers or something. Where I've got something here. I wonder if I can twist out. No, it won't. They are pretty stuck. I think this has been off before because there's there was evidence that someone's been in here, so it may have had an overhaul in its life on the pump or something. I don't know. It actually looks pretty good. I'll get a bigger pair of grips to see if I can get those to turn and pull out. Right, so I've got both them caps out now. A little bit of clean. I'll just take that back out with the parts washer and give it a wash out. It's getting a bit of snot coming out, so it's not going to hurt it, is it? So it looks like there's a couple of rubber seals in the top here. I haven't got any new ones, so this is looking pretty bloody clean. So I think I'm going to just put this back together because I don't want to disturb anything and not be able to fix it. I'll put it back, you know. Don't want to bugger it up. So there's all the sludge has gone anyway, and those now fit in there lovely. Look at that, what they should do. So we'll put that back together, and then we'll do the other side, give that a clean. Other than that, there's not really much in them, is there? I guess. Yeah, real simple little pump. Let's do this one. Yeah, probably more interested about getting all the water and sludge out than anything else. Once I've done that, I'll be happy. Isn't it? Back to the parts washer go. Well, that's all nice and clean and sparkly now. So we'll pop those bits back in. Going much easier than they come out, don't they? We shall rattle that little fellow up. Marvellous. Now, just clean these gasket faces up. Right. Now I've got my nice new gaskets here. And I might put a little bit of oil on these pistons before they go in. Now one of these has got right on it, which would be that one. That'd be right then, wouldn't it? You've got to get these little pistons in these bloody holes. That's it. Just going to chuck a bolt in. Let's get that gasket in the right place. One. Two. That's it, that's those two pistons all sort of nicely in. I'm just going to rattle these very gently. And I shall finish that off by hand. To get it right, I'll go and find my ratchet. So I'll just pull these up a little bit. Sweet. Right, that's that side done. Spin him round. We'll do this side. Another gasket. Yeah, this had had sort of water sitting in it, I guess, while it's been sitting in its where everybody was in the barn, but it wasn't a watertight barn. It had all the front was off, so this was getting the weather, which is not good. Marvellous. These all follows up. Finish it off with the old rest sheet. we'll do, we'll stick this valve back in. Right, that's him in. Let's give this a little bit of a clean up, get the rest of the old shit off of it, and then we'll put a bit of our aviation gasket on this. Once this is back on, we put the top bit back on. But first, before I actually put this back to the tractor, I'm just going to go and get a big container and stick it underneath that that housing and blast it out with some degreaser, because it's a bit shitty. So we'll do that next. So there'd be no point putting that nice shiny bits back into this old messy bit down here. So I've got my little blaster here to give it a quite messy, but he's getting all the crap out. Anyway, I'll carry on with that. I'll let that let the vapour set a little bit. That's just degreaser I'm using anyway. So. But that's 100 times better already in there. Let's just give it a wipe out and a dry off. There had tide marks in there, that's how bad it was, where it had water sitting on top of the oil, I suppose, and the water goes stagnant and goes a bit weird and wonderful. So anyway, we'll start off with a nice shiny clean gearbox now. It's much better, much more better. Anyway, I'll give that a final wipe out, and once I'm happy that it's all nice and shiny and cleany, shiny and briny, we can stick our bit back in. Another little job I'm going to do on here while it's apart is I'm just going to take out the slop of this bearing here. So those two lock nuts there are slopping about, so this bearing has got a bit of backlash in it. So I might as well do that while I'm in there. Take out the 70 plus years of play out of there. Right, so I've just done that. I just bent those tabs, there was only 2 tabs bent over, and just hand tighten that up and left a little tiny bit of play in it, but not a lot. And then I bent the tabs back over, so now that can't come undone. So that's that done. Now we can get on with putting it back together. Right, so that over the other side there is all shine and clean and shiny, shine and briny even. So now it's time give this a little bit of our magic goop. It's going to hold the gasket on while I slide this around as well, because it's a bit of a mission to get these on. We've got to push it up and then slide it and fart around, so you know, this will stick the gasket on. We hope. There we go. I'm just going to get the gasket quick and pop that on. Let that set a little tiny bit, although it doesn't set fully, it just... That's it. I might put a little bit more goop on top of that as well. Hopefully this will be a leak-free TA20, which would be pretty rare, isn't it? Right, that is gooped. Not too much, just enough, governor. Right. Hopefully that's going to hold that gasket on there for me if it evaporates a little bit. Next thing is to get it over to the tractor and try and offer it up underneath, which is a bit of a prick. So it's a really tight fit, and yeah, a bit awkward, gov. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but let's try and get this in. I might have to just give this a slight tap forward with me cotton mat. On the housing in front. Anyway, I shall get all these bolts in and come back. Right, they're all just nipped, and now we'll just finish them off with our ratchet. Right, that's that. That's that back on. And what I will do while I'm here is I have got a new O-ring, a new fibre washer for this sump plug here, so we might as well get rid of that old piece of poo. We'll put a new one on before I forget. So there's our new washer there, and that's the spare X part number S61323. So always a good idea to change them. I'm not going to put that back in yet because that hole gives me a little bit of a visual on this valve, so when I put that yoke on. So I'll leave that off. Next thing to do is prep the top plate, so we'll do that. So this gasket's just going to get a bit of grease on it. because it's at the top, and the chances of it leaking are pretty small. There is obviously hydraulic pressure on it up through there, but now the tricky bit with this is going to be getting that little fork over our control valve again. But again, not done it before. Looks like a prick, probably is a prick, but you don't know unless you try, do you? It must be doable because everybody does it. So I've left off the bottom of the drain plug just so as I can have a look up in there, and obviously the sides are off as well so I can manipulate it. So I've got to get that yoke back in again, that little aluminium yoke that goes over afterwards. So, right. Let's see how we get on with this. Probably in the way now, but never mind. Where are my bolts? They're over the other side there. Well, that's nearly on actually. You know what, I might get that with a pair of long nose pliers from that hole underneath and see if I can manipulate that in. So I'll quickly do that, then we'll come back. So I found the best way to put that pin in is through the hole for the drain. So with a pair of long nose pliers and a screwdriver you can manipulate it and pop it in. So that's in. The next thing, which is going to be a real prick, is this little horseshoe piece, which just here, this little sod here, which has got to go down between the fork, and then somehow we've got to get these little bolts in to hold it. So there's our first bolt in. It was an absolute prick, as I thought it would be. It's not tight yet, but that's that one. I'm just going to do the other side, then I'm going to tighten them both up. And then I can bolt this top plate down properly, but I won't do that until I've got these both in. Right, they're both on and tight, and our valve's moving, so that's good. So I'll chuck the rest of these bolts in and rattle these up. Then I can put the control arm back on, but I am going to strip that down and just leave part of it in there because I want to paint it when it's apart, just to make it look a bit nicer. Anyway, to get the rest of these bolts in. Right, let's finish it off on the rack. Right, that's that. Bloody marvellous. I can put a sump plug in now. Might as well nip that up. There we go. Now I'm just going to give those other parts a quick clean up before they go on as well. So I'll get to that. Right, so here's our bits and bobs. So there's our new friction pad, and look at that, that's quite a bit different from what came out of it. There was pretty much nothing. So that goes on there, like that. Get on there, you bastard, like that. And then we've got a little wood rough key there, so we'll go back in. Should just take back on there again. Something to drift that down with it so I don't damage the aluminium. Wood rough keys back in, but yeah, I'll just find something to pump that down with. Probably a socket. So on here you've got a plain washer and a spring washer, and all we do is we do that up to, we'll probably do it once it's on the tractor, but that'll be done up just to put a little bit of tension on that pad, not too much. And then we've got a split pin to go through. There's a split pin hole. It's right there, that'll probably do. See? So, that can now go back on the tractor. So I'll go and stick that on. So it's got adjustment so we can slide it backwards and forwards, but we'll have to do that afterwards. So I've got a gasket on. I'm just going to nip these, and then we'll put the lever on just for a minute and just see where it wants to be so it's working nice and nice. Nice to get this all sealed back up again, so no cracks again there. A couple more bits to clean up and put back on, but we're nearly there. So this, what have I got to do? Pull the brakes off, give them all a clean up, see what they're like, see if the brake shoes are salvageable or if we need to put new ones in. Sandblast them brake drums, I suppose, on the outside. And then this thing can be degreased. It's got greasy fingerprints all over it again from where I've been working on it. And be nearly ready to go in the spray booth, it'll be the first thing. But I'm not going to tighten them right up yet because I want to slide it backwards and forwards. Back them off a touch. Yeah, so let's move about all that is. So if I get the lever, wherever I do with that, the lever's over here. Now I do need to do a bit of work on the lever because someone's had to go up welding it back together. It doesn't look very pretty, so we'll redo that, but yeah, do just to try this, I suppose. Don't you know? Sound like a fighting armchair. That is working beautifully, that is. So if we go all the way forward, we'll probably come back a bit. Attach. Right now, so I was just going to lift it up just there. We can do a final adjustment once it's running. Make sure everything goes up and down. Right, that'll do. Okay, so that's nice. So next bit, put these two side covers back on after I've cleaned them, and then that's that gearbox sealed up pretty much, apart from the PTO shaft, which I've got to have a look at the seal. So we'll do that. Cool bananas. Right, so I've put that first cover on, which is for our PTO engage and disengage. That's all lined up and done. I missed putting it on because I ran out of electricity on the camera. Now I'm going to go to the other side. Actually no, I'm not. I'm going to go to there because I have just borrowed from my brother some O-ring material. So what I'm going to do is make these O-rings to seal that shaft at the end. So I shall quickly do those. A bit of O-ring that is the right size. I'm just going to cut this. Cut it. Like that. Then I'll super glue that together and stretch it over, and that'll go on there. And while I'm here, I'll do exactly the same for the other side. Might as well just do, it's going to be the same length, isn't it? Need another pair of hands. There we go. So that must be two O-rings. I shall go and get my super glue and glue those buggers together. So we'll just glue this one. Hopefully I ain't stuck my fingers together. No, I haven't. Well, that's one. Go on there. It fits very lovely, that does. And here's the other one. Here's our other one. They go on there like that. Marvellous. Now I've sacrificed one of the knuckles, or I'm going to sacrifice both the knuckles because the pins are so seized, so I've stripped the one off of there. I've given this a bit of a clean. So now I'm probably going to have to knock it on, so I have to knock it off. So I'll get that in the right place. I think I'll put a bit of copper grease on there first to help it. My other bolts for the other plate, so I'll just get my copper slit. Get it all over there like that. Hopefully that'll stop it from seizing on again if someone does put it outside, and it won't go rusty, will it, Gav? So before I paint this, I'm going to have to give it a very good degrease because I'm putting oil and grease everywhere. But never mind. Right, now where's my bangometer? Got to go and find my copper bangometer and get that master spline lined up. wherever it is. Just there. Now, get the copper hammer. Someone's moved it. Might have been me actually. I'm probably going to get in the way, sorry about that. There she goes. Well, that's that first one on. Very nice. I can put in the bolts back in, and that on the end. I've put a bit of copper slip on these as well, I think. Bit of copper grease on the end of that plate. Now I don't want to do them too tight, but I'll just rattle those on. I'll leave it like that for a minute, because you can adjust the tension on them, but that's really nice with the O-ring in there. That's working a treat. So now I'm going to go and annihilate the other knuckle for the other one and give that a clean up. Then that can go on, and I'll stick this other plate back on with the oil dipstick, which is all nice and clean now, which is just there. It's been in our bead blaster. That looks much more lovely, doesn't it? So I think there should be a O-ring in the top of there as well. Anyway, I'll sort that out later. But this is nearly sealed up. That's looking very, very good indeed. That's all working. So that's marvellous. Right, I'm going to get a bit medieval that other side then. So here's another arm, all nice and cleaned up. So I'll do the same with that, bit of copper slip, and then that one can be bolted, and then I can adjust them a little bit. Like I bought one, wasn't it? Marvellous. So, bit in there, bit in there. Might as well put a bit on there as well. Here we go. Right. Now, pull up that master spline, which is just there somewhere. And I'll have to bang it on again, haven't I? There we go. So I'll get our other plate. I've already greased the end, so that can go straight on there like that. say that's a wee bit too tight, Gov, so we'll just back him off a bit. Well, I think that's all right like that. So I shall bend those tabs over there. Yep, we are happy with that. So that's that on. So next bit is just down there, that last cap to go on, and that's sealed up again, which is marvellous. Then I've got to get the oil seal out of the PTO shaft. But anyway, I might leave the PTO shaft for another video because I haven't got the seal. I've ordered it and it's not here. But pretty much this is this wrapped up. Once I've got this cover on, that's the hydraulics and the lift mechanism. So that's how I do that anyway. There might be an easier way. You can comment if you like, and let me know if you've got a better way of doing it, because I've got a few more to do. So yeah, comment away, Gov. There you go, last little plate. And I shall finish it off with a ratchet, but that is pretty much done, burger. Here we go. Dipstick back on. Excess of that crap off. Another step closer to getting in a spray booth. Here we go. So that is from start to finish reassembling the hydraulics and a little bit of an overhaul. Nothing too serious, but just new gaskets and bits and bobs and clean. Hope you enjoyed that. Any comments, as I say, let me know if there's anything I can do better.